So I do understand where you're coming from. It is essentially building up the mental muscles for people over time. So when the heavy lifting opportunity comes along, then of course they have the muscles to tackle on. Of course, there'll be certain stage where the thing is so heavy that the muscles are just not sufficient. That is probably where the therapy will come in.
Exactly.
So to your versatile resilience program, could you just give an example of a thing that you would do with a client or during a workshop that would work towards them building up more mental resilience?
Certainly. So in the workshop, we have a couple of elements, Adrian. We have some pre-work where we ask people to come to the workshop with an existing adversity. Okay, anything, and at that stage, we don't define what adversity really is. We just leave it to them to figure out whatever they think adversity is, and then they come to the workshop. Okay. After that, we then define what adversity is. And then we share the fact that there are 6 types of adversities. It's not just one adversity. So we actually help people from that point onwards to really break down what exactly is the adversity I'm facing. Because you and I know, you might have come across friends in your life, if they have a breakup with one of their partners, they think the whole world has collapsed. Correct?
That's right.
Yeah, and it looks like everything has gone wrong. It's not true. It's only a social element that went out. So I help people, first of all, to be able to simplify what the adversity is. The next step we do is we talk about giving them a model about how the mind really works. So when we look at a situation, we look at it, and then this thing called cognitive distortion happens. And this is universal. It is every human being. We are intuitively and genetically incapable. Let me just rephrase that. Genetically, maybe we are okay, but socially, over a period of time, as we grow, we become incapable of being able to see a situation for what it is. For example, I think you and I have seen this, simple test where, you look at something from an angle, it looks like a line, right? If you look at my finger now, if I orient it exactly to the camera, you will think I have 1 finger. But if I do this, suddenly you find I have 4 fingers. So if somebody is just looking at a situation like this and they already start calling it out, they'll say, yeah, Hari has 1 finger. Whereas a person who is not biased or who doesn't have the cognitive distortion will say, can I look at it from a different angle if there is a different angle? Before they describe the situation. That's when you really are able to really form a proper opinion about, oh, this is Hari's hand. Right? The same analogy applies to life. So we look at a situation, our mind very quickly, decides, and these are all our comfort thinking. Funnily enough, each of these 15 distortions is actually our comfort zones. We like to be polarized. We like to think and look at it as black and white. We like to exaggerate. We like to, fudge things up. And these depend on individuals. Some people may have a few of these. Some people may have a different set. Like I know of individuals who like to exaggerate anything that they look at. And I'll give an example how it sounds. Oh, this guy, he always talks like that. You've seen this comment. Yeah, this is a simple example of what's happening in this person's head. This person might have seen this person doing it 2 or 3 times, and the remaining 98 out of 100 times he has not seen this person. But these 2-3 times becomes the whole, this person is always like that, right? This is a distortion. And a person who thinks of this person like this actually has a problem, because he or she is going to look at every other thing that is disagreeable to this person in this fashion. And that starts molding their life view, the world view. So what we do is we take this stuff that's sitting deep inside a mental hospital's therapy, office, and we bring it right out into a workshop and say, guys, here it is. These are the 15 distortions that human beings have. Now, you take a look at this. Here's an exercise, and I'm going to ask you to take your situation, now that you know these 15 distortions, on the left-hand side, and this is actually a very well-known behavioral therapy technique where it's called using the legal kind of a game. It's a game, right? So on the left hand side is the prosecutor and the right hand side is a defendant. So a prosecutor is a person who's your default thinking. So you're saying, this is like this because it's like this. Now you ask the same person to say, now you're the defendant. So how will you defend this situation? And typically the people will find that they can't defend it because it's like this, right? I showed you my finger. You can't defend that this is only a finger, right? Because the defendant will say, can you please ask Mr. Hari to turn his hand? And now the prosecutor will say, no, it's not a finger, right? So we make the person, immerse into this thinking for a few minutes. This is the mental gymming that is going to happen. And then it slowly starts giving them an aha moment. Say, wow. And now they're applying it on their own so-called adversity, right? So we do this, and then slowly people start getting it, and then they start building out what I call as their defensive mode. And then there's a preventive mode, which we can talk if we have the time.